All right, hey guys, sorry it's a little bit dark, but I want you to be able to see the board in the background. This is a little bit different than the screencast that I usually post, but I think it's going to benefit you guys more if you see me actually demonstrating it on the board. So what we're going to do today is we're going to just model the writing process. I would give you guys M&Ms, but you guys are virtual, so you're just going to have to imagine them with me, okay? So we are going to have this writing prompt. We're going to pretend that we are going to write an essay on M&Ms. So the prompt is, why are M&Ms so popular? And use 3 supporting details. So I would write that on the board, but I'm going to need it for a lot more stuff. So just keep that in mind, and I'll keep on reminding you of the prompt throughout the video. So I chose a prompt that was not super long or anything. So that means that we do not have to attack the prompt at all. All that we have to do is follow the directions. I gave you a very straightforward prompt, so there were no fluff words. We know exactly what we need to do. We need to explain why M&Ms are so popular, and we need to use 3 supporting details. So this is like a 5-paragraph essay, just like the essay that you are going to start writing. So step 1 would be to examine the M&Ms. So you don't actually have them right now, but just imagine M&Ms in your mind. They're different colors, the size, the shape, the what packet they come in, what's associated with them. And then we're going to go on to the next step, which is brainstorming. So brainstorming, what we're going to do today is we're just going to brainstorm using kind of a web. So M&M candies. That is what we are going to be brainstorming about. So just think of some things that you associate M&Ms with. So one of the first things that comes to mind for me is just the color of them. So we're going to write color. Also the size. So there's many different sizes. I personally like the mini M&Ms the most. So slash, we'll just put size. They're obviously made by Hershey, which I think that we all are very familiar with Hershey. Hershey Park, that also comes to mind for me. And kind of bouncing off of that, Hershey Park, I think of the guys in their costumes. So we're just going to put characters. Something else that comes to mind for me is that one time for Christmas, my mom got me customized M&Ms with like my face on them or something like that. I don't really remember, but so you can customize them. That also being said, there's an M&M for every single holiday. There's also a ton of different flavors. So I personally like the originals and also the almond ones. So there's different flavors. Let's see what else. They're just like everywhere. So like they're super versatile. You can use them in cookies. You can find them in different family packs, in like little tiny packs and everything like that. So they're super versatile. What else? We can talk about how you can literally find them anywhere. Like they're in gas stations, they're in convenience stores, they're in like CVS's and pharmacies, that sort of thing. So we're just going to put stores. Something else that comes up to me is like they're worldwide. You can talk to somebody from a different country and they know what an M&M is. Oh, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, you could say anything else, like they're colorful, or I already said that. They have a candy shell. That being said, even with a candy shell, I think of the slogan. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but the commercials, other thing. They have a slogan. It's melt in your mouth, not in your hand, because they have the candy shell on them. All right, so as you can see, like, we have a lot here, a lot, and we only need 3 supporting details. So what we need to do next is we need to narrow it down. Which are the most important ones? So we can also group them together and then maybe come up with a bigger idea. And then these can be our supporting details that we need in our paragraph. So let's just go ahead and think of that really quick. So let's go with the first, let's see what can be grouped together here. Whenever I think of commercials, I think of advertising. So we're going to do that. And with commercials, you can't really see that. Sorry, guys. And that being said, with commercials, I think of slogans. And a slogan is also a form of advertising. And I think that Hershey does this really well. Their advertising, which can also kind of go with Hershey Park itself. I mean, whenever you go around, you see the people, you see the people dressed up as M&Ms, which also kind of goes with the characters. All right, cool. So we have one supporting fact right now. So that, I would say, is advertising. Let's see what else. All right. So they're obviously very, there's a lot of different kinds of M&Ms. I see here that we have the minis and the different sizes. We have the holiday themed ones. That's different. We can also say that the customizable ones, yeah, they're definitely a different variety. And I guess the fact that we can find them, and flavors, sorry. The fact that we can have peanut ones, we can have dark chocolate ones, we can have cookies and cream ones. That's a ton of different things. So we have our second point there. And then finally, we can find them in all kinds of different stores. They're worldwide. They are super versatile, meaning that you can use them kind of anywhere, and that you can get different kinds of sizes, bag-wise and stuff like that. So I would say the fact that they are super accessible makes them very popular as well. Okay, so we have our 3 main points now just from our brainstorming. So we have advertising, we have variety, and we have accessibility. And that took us 5 minutes to do. And right now we have our entire paper pretty much planned out. Not planned out, but we know what we're going to be talking about just from our brainstorming activity. That is why it is so important to do this. So that means that we can move on to our next step now. We have our 3 major points on why we believe that M&Ms are so popular. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to have to come up with a thesis statement before we do anything else, because we have our 3 points here. It's time to do the thesis statement so that way we can understand where we're going to go from there. And the thesis statement is kind of the map to our paper, as we kind of talked about before, and how that's going to drive the rest of your paper. So coming up with the thesis statement right after your brainstorming is a great idea. So we're going to I'm just going to delete all of this. You can go back and pause if you need to. So our thesis statement. So we got to think of our prompt. Our prompt again was, why are M&Ms so popular? Use 3 supporting details. So here we don't have a work of text that we're going to be working with like the format that I would normally give you. Usually you put the title of the work, the author, and then your 3 supporting details. In this case, we do not have any of that, so we want to put the main idea where we would put the author and the text. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take some verbiage from the prompt. So our formula is going to be the main point, or what we are trying to answer. Then we're going to have a verb there, that strong verb. And then we're going to list our 3 points. So that's the formula that we are going to follow. So our thesis statement, though, is going to be, we're going to take the same verbiage. So why are M&Ms so popular? We're going to use that in the beginning. M&Ms are very popular. And then for our verb, I'm going to use due to because it sounds better than because, but because would have worked just as fine. And then remember those 3 points that we just pulled out from our brainstorming. So due to, our first one is advertising. Second one is variety. And then the third one is their accessibility. So, as you can see here, we have our main idea here. And then we have our 3 points. And you can see exactly what we will be talking about in this paper. So our thesis is done. It's ready to start planning in our graphic organizer. So we are going to delete this. And remember, for the graphic organizer, they're just going to be basically bullet points, and we're just going to put the supporting evidence below each bullet point. So our intro. Remember whenever we did our writing boot camp, what goes into the intro? A hook, which we do not have to worry about right now. You don't have to worry about that until probably you start writing your paper, maybe even after you're done writing the whole paper. But the first one is background information. So what background info do we want to include in here? Remember, we want to get broad and then more specific with our thesis statement. So we can maybe put the history of the candy, the origin where M&Ms came from. We could also say like the current sales of M&Ms and how popular they are. That kind of gets a little bit more narrow as we go down. So we will just say that the background info will be the history, the origin, and current sales. And then what we are obviously going to do is insert our thesis statement. And I'm just going to write thesis statement here, even though we know that we already have that completed, so we can kind of just put a check mark there. All right, so then we're on to our first paragraph, which is following our thesis statement. That's going to be advertising. So we just need to put some of our supporting details there, which we already have from our brainstorming page. So remember, we talked about advertising. That's going to be Hershey itself, the amusement park characters. Commercials. And their slogan. There we have 3 supporting details. That's awesome that we are already onto that. Okay, so paragraph 2. that's going to be variety. And going back to our brainstorming sheet, we know the flavors. That's important. Slash sizes, how we have the minis and all that sort of thing. We have the customizable option. And also the holiday themes. All right, and then we are off to paragraph 3, which I'm just going to put over here. So paragraph 3 is going to be accessibility. And remember, we already talked about this one as well. How it has different size packets that you can buy them in. You can have the personal one, you can have the family one. They're in all stores that you could ever imagine. And they're worldwide. Which just then leaves us with the conclusion, which remember, conclusion, I'm just going to say this because I don't have enough room on my board, but our conclusion then just recaps all of the points. It restates the thesis, not exactly the way that we did in the introduction, but it still restates it. And we have to have a clincher. Remember that last sentence that just kind of brings everything together, and it's the last thing that your readers are going to read, so it has to be interesting. It has to tie everything together. So as you can see, we're ready to start writing then. And the thing is, we have everything planned out. We just have to put it in sentence form. That is why the writing process is so important. Now, again, I'm sorry that you guys don't have the actual M&Ms or anything to eat. Remote learning is kind of difficult to eat together. But next time that you eat a pack of M&Ms, think of this activity, okay? If you have any questions, be sure to email me. Now go ahead and start looking at the next paper and the requirements that go with it. All right, see you guys.